is nigh. Danny McBreen has the privilege of drawing out the teams. Of course, 4 teams in the draw. Danny McBreen, 2 from the NPL and 2 from the A-League men's competition. Take it away. Okay, Brisbane, Macarthur, Oakleigh and Sydney United are our 4 teams. First team to be drawn out. Brisbane Roar through tonight against Adelaide United. We just heard from their captain, Jay O'Shea. So, will they play Macarthur or will they play one of the men's NPL teams? Danny McBreen.
Come on.
You can see it. They will play Sydney United 58. So, Brisbane Roar against Sydney United 58. So Sydney United will host that game as a men's NPL team. And we'll go through the motions here because Oakleigh will be hosting the next fixture as well. So back to Jack Edwards Reserve. Oakleigh Cannons drawn first. And just to complete the official part of the draw, they will play Dwight York's Macarthur FC. Thank you, Daniel. You've disappointed a few people.
Sorry, everybody. I tried.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Daniel. James Johnson, the Football Australia Chief Executive Officer, joins us on the couch now alongside Alex Brox. James, Danny McBreen didn't quite do the job that many people were hoping for, but what a wonderful competition this has been so far this year. And tonight's semi-final, I suppose, highlighted just how wonderful it can be.
That's right, Zappers. Competition's all about stories and narrative, and to have 2 NPL teams in the semi-finals and 2 semi-finals to be played in local community stadiums is a really great story for this wonderful competition.
James, there's been a few changes to the competition this year, obviously with the open draw. Talk us through those changes. I mean, it's great to see, obviously, 2 NPL clubs making the final, but talk us through the changes you made to the competition this year.
So there's 2 key ones. If you go back to last year, we changed the name, and that was to really reconnect this great competition with the history, but also the future of the game, which is why it's called the Australia Cup. This year, we really focused on the calendar, and we wanted to have clear air, if you like, for the Australia Cup, so it would be played before the A-League kicked off. And one of the logic reasons behind that is we wanted the NPL teams to be more competitive against the A-League teams, and naturally the NPL teams are at the end of their season, the A-League are at the start. And I think we've seen some of the consequences of that with 2 teams ending up in the semi-finals. The other is access outside of Australia. So the winner of this competition, Broski, will play in the AFC Cup. That cup will kick off in 2023. So really what that means, and the message that sends to the football community, is the 700 odd clubs that participate in this great competition can not only play at the national level, but they also can play in Asia as well.
James, I've got a question for you. We've talked about the official side of things. I want to know what's been your favourite moment of the Cup so far.
Look, there's been a lot. I loved last year when the final was played. Melbourne Victory played Central Coast, because Melbourne Victory then represented the whole of Australia, the 700 odd clubs that participated in Asia. That was really important to me. Tonight, another one, watching Oakleigh win in this game and get to the semi-final and set up a situation where we've got 2 NPL clubs is just another great story. I think the cup upsets and the different narratives that come out of this competition are fantastic. So there's 3. Sydney United's win recently, making the semi-final. Oakleigh tonight, and the Melbourne Victory final last year, because it was the first team to participate in the Asian club competitions through the Australia Cup.
A bit on the plate over the next 12 months. An exciting time for football in this country, with the Men's World Cup coming up, of course, with the Socceroos qualifying, the Women's World Cup, the A-League about to kick off, and plenty more.
That's right, Zappers. We're entering the most exciting time, I think, for Australian football over the next 12 months. We had a great experience. The country came together when the Socceroos qualified against Peru. We've got some great international content in September. The Socceroos will play New Zealand. The Matildas will play a 2-match series against Canada. We've got the World Cup in November and December, and then we go into the Women's World Cup on home soil in July and August next year. So what a fantastic 12 months for the Australian game.
And obviously with the disruptions we've had, through COVID in the last couple of years, it must be great just heading into these seasons, into the World Cups as well, and just having the Australia Cup back.
Yeah, it is. So football is back. It's back strong at all levels. We know that the community participation numbers are huge, and we'll announce those soon together with the member federations. Australia Cup is up. The Matildas brand is off the scales. Socceroos is picking up in the lead up to the World Cup, and we have the A-League kicking off soon as well, and we know that's going to be a good season this year, particularly with how it's set up with the Men's World Cup occurring in the middle and the Women's World Cup at the end of a great domestic club football season for Australia.
And obviously you've got the Australia Cup, the semi-finals, so they kick off sometime in the week of the 11th of September. There's a semi-final, George, just to remind everyone from tonight. Sydney United taking on Brisbane, Oakley Cannons versus Macarthur. And then the final, James, is on the 1st of October.
That's right, and something that was important to us is that more of this competition is played on weekends. So the semi-finals are scheduled to be on the 10th and the 11th. There's obviously a cup set, so we've got to work through with Football Victoria what we do with Oakley, so that might have to be moved to a midweek game, which would push it to the 14th of September. But the final will be 1 October. It's going to be a great weekend match that will be live free-to-air on 10, and we can't wait for that match to occur.
Yeah, we can't wait either. Of course, Oakley still involved in the men's competition in Victoria. They play a preliminary final, so if they do make it to the grand final, as James mentioned, there may be a change in dates there. But stay tuned here on 10 Play and Network 10, and we'll keep you up to date with all the action and when those games will be played. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. What a night of Australia Cup action it has been yet again. One of the biggest cup sets we've seen in the history of this competition. Oakley Cannons through tonight, along with the other A-League teams. But great to see Sydney United and Oakley in the semi-finals. From me, Michael Zapponi, and